Get ready for a big shift in our weather pattern. Hey everyone, I'm Chief Meteorologist Darrell Whittinger from the Central Oregon Daily Weather Center, and we are about to take a deep dive into your most reliable forecast, kicking things off with the winter storm impact graphic. If you've seen a lot of these deep dives, especially last winter, you know I like to use it because it gives a really good snapshot of what we're expecting through the next 3 days. Keep in mind it's only Wednesday, so the next 3 days pretty much include Friday, and that's when we get into this next active weather pattern, and we are expecting a lot of changes. So buckle up, let's do a deep dive into your most reliable forecast, talk about what's been happening, how the changes during the next 48 hours are going to impact us, and what that means as we wrap up the work week and go into the weekend, because even by Friday we will have seen no rain between now and Friday at 7 a.m. It's not until the afternoon hours that we start to get some showers, and then with back-to-back systems we have falling snow levels, even some light totals at our lower elevations, and more mountain snow is expected. But let's go ahead and start off with what we're seeing right here and right now. We've had a mixture of sunshine and cloud cover today. Now, a lot of these clouds have been thinning out. There's a little bit of haze across our Tri-County area, but there has been no rain in sight. And we can actually see with satellite and radar. Remember, satellite shows cloud cover and radar shows precipitation. Now, there were a few blips on radar around 2 to 3 o'clock hour, but they didn't see anything on street cameras as far as roads getting wet, and I haven't had any reports. So I think that was a little bit of virga. It's precipitation that evaporates before it hits the surface. Now we're going into a regime of clearing, and what that means for us is we have a little bit of a break between systems. This fizzling front rolls east. Our next system is well off to the west, and we have those clearing through the evening and to start our night. But by the sunrise, we'll start to see more clouds rolling into the high desert. Now Thursday, it's going to be our break between systems. Today wasn't that impressive, and we didn't get any precipitation, but we did get a dip in temperatures. Winds have been breezy for many of us on the high desert, and this next system is well out over the Pacific Ocean. So we're switching gears, looking at infrared satellite imagery, and there's an enhancement on this imagery that really helps pull out those tall clouds. Now, looking over the Gulf of Alaska, there is a very strong low-pressure system, and this is going to be the next weather maker. This is the one that pushes in on Friday, but if we look further out over the Pacific Ocean, almost all the way over to the edge of the satellite imagery, there's another low that's developing, and there's another one off the tail end of the Aleutian Islands. Those two are going to impact us as well. First, the Aleutian Island low, it develops even more, then rolls into the Pacific Northwest, then the one that's further to its south. So let's talk about our forecast model, because this is a high resolution one, and it shows that through the next 24 to 48 hours, 24 to 36 hours, we don't see much in the way of change. Thursday, more clouds, in and out cover. By Friday, we start off partly cloudy to mostly sunny, and then by the midday hours, we start to see that next system making landfall. That system actually makes landfall earlier in the day, but we start to see those showers come right up to the crest of the Cascades during the midday hours. Then through the afternoon, showers start to roll into the high desert. That is the beginning of our active weather pattern. So let's go ahead and talk about some other conditions before we come back to precipitation. Relative humidity right now is in the 30s for the most part, couple 20s, few 40s out there. This is moderate to dry for the Tri-County area. So even when we saw some of those sprinkles working their way through Jefferson County during the 2 to 3 o'clock hour, I didn't think a lot of it was reaching the ground because of that. Highs in the last 24 hours, 60s and 70s. A few of these are holdovers, but not all of them. Right now we are sitting in the 60s with some 50s on the map, and our temperature change actually shows a cool down. We're running between 2 and 8 degrees cooler than 24 hours ago. Tonight we fall into the 30s, tomorrow we'll be in the 60s, so even your school bus forecast shows that we have another mild day on tap for Central Oregon with some PM clouds. Actually, clouds through the day. There will be some times of AM clearing, but that's pretty much it. And by the time we get to Friday, that's when we start to see the big changes in our weather pattern. So Thursday, we're still partially under the influence of a ridge of high pressure, highs mostly in the 60s. By Friday, 60s for most of the Tri-County area, but showers roll in late. This is the beginning of the active pattern that brings back-to-back systems into the Pacific Northwest with rain, big cooling, gusty winds, and highs dropping through the 50s and into the 40s by Sunday and Monday. So between now and Saturday at 11 p.m., we're still in the middle of this system, and a low pressure is starting to make landfall once again. Most of the high desert's going to be wet. Some of us actually getting even a little bit of light snow, but most of the snow for this entire event is going to stay in the Cascades. And temperatures get unseasonably cool across the high desert, especially as we go into next week. That's when we're looking at a wintry mix of rain and snow. So ultimately, our forecast model does show that through the overnight hours, some clouds roll in during the AM. Thursday, staying dry, but more clouds with periods of clearing. And by Friday, we're actually looking at the system bringing showers starting during the PM hours through the overnight, and then back-to-back systems train over central Oregon, with each one bringing its own set of changes, more mountain snow, and even some snow showers in our lower elevations by Sunday and Monday. I just don't think a lot of it's going to stick. Then once we go past that, we're actually looking at this continuing not just Sunday and Monday, but by Tuesday still holding on to a low chance of a few sprinkles before we really start to see clearing. And then it looks like by Wednesday of next week, we start to see a few more changes. So between now and noon Sunday, we're actually looking at a few spots getting a trace of snow. Most of the snow is going to stay in the highest elevations. A different forecast model actually shows rain rolling in and then starting to get snow in the mountains by Saturday. After that, we start to see a little bit more in the lower elevations, but still not much in the way of totals in the lowest elevations. Winds been gusty at times, gusts still between 15 and 20 miles per hour, and they're about to start to taper off. It's really not going to be until Friday, though, that winds get strong once again. So for tonight, we're talking 30s with some 20s on the map, and more clouds are expected through the AM hours. By Thursday, 60s, a few 70s, still awesome on the high desert, and it's not until Friday that we start to see these showers roll into the Tri-County area. Winds are going to be gusty, more precipitation is expected, but between systems, we're looking at periods of clearing. Now, snow levels continue to fall. We're getting to a wintry mix by Sunday and Monday. Now, mountain snow is expected. In fact, we're looking at 4 to 8 inches through the passes. Highest elevations could get a foot plus, but that might be stretching it just a little bit. Meanwhile, your weather headlines for this Wednesday, October the 22nd, include nice days pretty much winding down, especially on Friday. Fall cold fronts are taking aim on the high desert, and we're looking at rain with falling snow levels, and again, there will be some periods of clearing. Now, that's the latest in weather. Tune in tonight, Central Oregon Daily News, with the latest headlines and your most reliable forecasts. We're in the 5 o'clock show now. We'll be on at 6 and 7 on CBS, and then 11 o'clock on ABC and CBS. We'll see you then.